All right. Had to start the. You know what I should have done? I should have done that from here. Oh, that background noise is loud. There's a lot of it. There's. I wonder if I can. Let's see here. First off, so part of what I'm doing today is everything needs an update. There was a critical security vulnerability in Mac OS and iOS, and so all of that's been getting updated. Let's see if I can do X32 edit on the X32 edit on Mac OS. I wonder if it works on M1. We'll find out. Sorry, I'm not prepared at all. I can't see the chat room. I haven't linked anything. I don't like that. Reddit. Here we go. You can hear a good chunk of the typing. I don't think it's too terrible though. All right, let's jump over to Jamie's bits. Jamie's bits. There we are. And go to the Go Live page. Hi, everyone. Okay. Hello, Jeff. I think it's Jeff. Garion and Dan. Garen? Sorry, Garen. I can... You know, that still hasn't changed. I still don't know how to say things. Go to Twitter. So part of what I'm going to do... So what I have been doing a little bit is kind of cleaning things up. So it's a bit hard to tell, but I really want to get that X32 app. Hang on one second, everyone. So software. Oh. Here we go. Let's see if this will even run for me. Desktop. Oh, I don't want it on my desktop. What am I doing? That goes in applications. Move. Any bets? Oh, because that it really doesn't work because they can't check it for malicious software. Let's see if the Security Center lets me open it anyhow. Maybe. Incompatible mixer. All right, hang on. I'm just going to do this by hand. All right. Hopefully that's better. A little less beep beep bloop bloop. So this box is now connected to the network via a switch that's on the ground, and that's providing PoE. And then I also have, I don't think I have ATEM software in here. Nope. On my other camera, and I'll get that set up in a moment, we also have the headphone box for the other microphone set up, and the other microphone is wired in now and coming into this box. So all of the cabling is kind of in place. I also took a moment to kind of move things to the correct spot. We were off center before. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can just use the Twitter app. You know, I should have actually sorted a lot of this stuff out before I hit the Go Live button. You'd think I would have? Oh, here we go. So I can actually tweet this now. Copy this. And I get to say live. close that out. All right, who else do we have in the chat room? Colton. Hey, Colton. Hey, actually, Colton, since you're here, if you don't mind, would you link me? Then I can put it up on screens and things. And while you're doing that, I'm going to work on so I got to install the Atom software. We're going to try to install a Stream Deck on a Mac Mini M1. Not only, oh, you did. Oh, hang on. Oh, you know what? Because I'm in hosts. That'll do it. Yep. We'll put that down there. That goes there now. Thank you, Colton. So now I've got my social stuff, and I'll jump onto that in a moment. But what I really want to do, Blackmagic Design, support, and then Atom. Now, where are their switchers? Where are their switchers? There we are. Mac OS. So one of the things that I did earlier this evening was there was that Windows box that had been crashing, and I just got upset at it. So I've installed Ubuntu on it. It's 2004. Yeah, I just used my right breast to move the microphone. It's Ubuntu 2004. I got the Blackmagic drivers installed. After much finagling, I got Casper CG working. So that's all happy, but I can't. So Casper's running and it will play out images and videos, but it will not display any web pages, which is a problem because the lower third is basically a web page. And so I cannot currently bring the lower thirds on the screen, but I've got a forum post out there and hopefully someone will be able to help me. And what I'm doing now is installing the Atom software, and then I also, see, this is why I like these arms. I just hit it and I don't think you heard it. And then let's see here, we also need Stream Deck, and then I also need to get Companion, and then I'm gonna be able to press a button and switch cameras. It's gonna be pretty cool. You guys are gonna be like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Select my product. Stream Deck. Oh, I wonder if I can share this with screen mirroring studio. Ugh. All right. We'll get that in a moment. Download version 5. Yay. The Blackmagic software is down. Hey, Ashley. Good to see you. So this will hopefully only take a moment for me to kind of finish some of this setup stuff. Oh, also, I zoomed out of this camera from last time you saw it. The reason I zoomed out is because when I punched in and you didn't have this side and you missed some of the planet up there, like it just ended up with the, like, black in the windows, and I didn't really like that as much. So I pulled it out a little bit. Like, I hope that's better. Okay, cool. That's installing Stream Deck. Yay. All right. And then I also need Stream Deck Companion. Oh, hey, we should, let's see if Stream Deck works. Because the software came up. Alright. The thing is, Stream Deck with Companion isn't the most stable thing ever. It's really super. I know it's an unboxing vid, exact. Hang on, I should move this away. Then you can. That's not sketchy. Most terrible unboxing ever. You can see here the Stream Deck itself. Ooh. Ah. So the whole back plate comes off, and then it is USB-C. So I want to say, I wonder if I have a USB-C to USB-C cable, because I don't want to run an adapter. I'll be right back. Hang on. I forgot. I remember to take my headphones off this time. All right. This actually makes me a little happy. So we're going to peel off the back bottom plating here. You didn't really get to hear the noise. There you go. All right. And the cable goes through the back plate. Plugs into, you know, actually, is that a better angle? No, it is not. And it plugs in here. This all goes like this. Boop. Cool. So here's my Stream Deck. We're done with all of this now. And this can plug in here. Nope. My Stream Deck goes on the other side. I forgot that the pros, or the Airs, are not a pro and don't have ports on both sides. Lame. Oh! It looks like it works. Let's find out. Ah, it works. All right, well, the driver works at least. All right, we're halfway there. Now, let's see. So, there's got to be a nicer way to do this. Oh, you know what? I can put it on this side, and this is just going to wrap around like this. Oh yeah, no. So, human person is saying, how did I get my hands on a Stream Deck already? Well, this is the XL. This is not the new one. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to do a forgot password. Send a reset link. Thank you. I'm really hoping that... So, here's what happens. Stream Deck itself is pretty neat. That's this box. This box here. Whoopsie doopers. And it has its own software. But that software isn't super powerful. I can link it to all of my broadcast gear next door. I can even link it to my Axient microphones, not that I'm using them right now, and do a whole bunch of stuff. I think I can even link it to the X32. And with one button press, I can actually command what's up on air. So I can do things like bouncing in and out of the chat room and whatnot. And it'll be nice and easy. Let's see if it's in spam. Nope. Although my update for, that's hilarious, the Now Live update went into my spam folder. What else we got? Let's see here. Let's go back in. You know, while we're waiting, any questions? You know what? Maybe. You know what probably happened is I didn't sign up with Companion on my tomorrow address. I probably used my other address. That would explain it. I agree. And newsletters are fine. Okay. There we go. Human person, what's this stream about? Well, I was at the studio. I'm at station 204, and I'm kind of setting some stuff up. So I figured, you know, why not stream? Why not show you guys what we got going on? And we'll save that password. Yay! And I'm setting up my Stream Deck, and I'm kind of getting my console for the updated kind of podcast version of the shows all set up and ready to go. No, there's no MLM thruster. Station 204 is not compatible with the, what was it? What's MLM? The multi-purpose laboratory module? Yeah. Oh, that was incredible. It was. That's interesting. So we'll just drop that in applications. Open anyway. Open. All right. Oh. Okay, that needs to close. Much like Stream Deck, or much like I'm used to on Companion, I think it just crashed. Yep. This will be interesting. Oh, maybe not. Launch GUI. Okay. Surfaces. Rescan. Let's see if I can get it to... Maybe I need to power cycle it because the Stream Deck... Oh, wait, hold up. No, that's that. That's the focus. Making sure that Stream Deck itself is not running. There we go. It's working! Okay, so let me show you why this is cool. Add by category, item. No, let's just do item. Cool. And I just installed the Blackmagic software, so I should be able to... Yeah, human person losing attitude control in space can be, like, it's scary. .10, okay. I'm not going to auto-detect this constellation in 4K mode. Sure, let's do long names. Apply. And now I'm going to go to buttons. We're going to regular button. Sorry, I have to do this configuration really quick. Item set program. There's got to be a set program. Set input on program. ME1 to camera 1. Cam 1. And regular button. So, well, let me get these 3 buttons going really quick, and then I'll show you those 3, and then I'm going to need just a moment to... Oh. Camera 2. Okay. Regular button, camera 3. Sorry, I know that. If I could spell, this would be much easier. Camera 3. Great. Now I can bounce to camera 2. I can go back to my camera just from this right here. Look how cool that is, right? But if I were smart about this, I can also do, let's do it right over here. I'm going to add social And program. ME1 social. Yeah. So now I can go to chat.tomorrow.tv. I can log in as me. Nope. Huzzah. We'll go back here. I can do this. I can be like, wait, that took a moment. I can be like, yeah, losing attitude control in space can lead you to wishing you were wearing brown pants. I will say that they mentioned, I have to remember to hit 3 and not 2. They mentioned in their press briefing that the astronauts didn't really feel much of anything. Like they weren't mentioning, it sounded like it wasn't that big of a deal to the astronauts on station. Like, I don't know. Obviously I wasn't there. It was kind of cool to listen along. But like, maybe the thruster was just firing and it was just a slow push. But I feel like any sort of inertial change on station would cause them to run into things, right? Because, right, the station's moving, but they're not, so they're going to slam into, even if it's slow. Yep. Tim says, so I've been replaced by a desktop push button. I mean, I'm just saying it's working pretty good. The problem is when I'm having a conversation and it's like me and then Carrie Ann, back to me, back to Carrie Ann, I have to remember to hit the button. And, right? But it is pretty cool that I can do all of that, and I can even add DDR. And what's really neat is you can program one button to do a series of things. So I can be like, roll the intro, and then it'll figure out the intro, wait for the estimated amount of time, automatically dissolve to stuff, bring up the graphics. I can tie it into Casper CG as well. Yeah. I did not know that you needed a Chrome extension to get theater mode to work with chat on YouTube. That is kind of silly, and I don't understand why it's that way. So, hi everyone. Now that I've got that kind of sorted, I wonder if I can get the X32, it'd be cool because then I can hit the camera buttons and I can have it mute the other microphone. What's really neat is that right now, the other microphone is actually live. I can take it out of the mix by muting it here. But this is the balance for audio. And hopefully this sounds pretty decent. I'm getting a little bit of ticking in my ear. That's probably because I took the latency levels down to 1 millisecond so that I could actually monitor the actual output of the system without worrying about it. So Faith has joined the room. Hi. Also, it's good to have everyone here. I'm not monitoring YouTube directly, so I'm not entirely sure how many people. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, actually, we have it for Jamie's Bits. This isn't too bad. Now, the nice thing about Jamie's Bits is we can talk space, we can talk transition, we can talk whatever you want to talk about. I'm not going to limit us because, like on, hi Abby, on the main show on the Tomorrow show I try not to talk too much about transition-y type things. I will say that I'm very glad that I'm sitting right now. I did have bottom electrolysis yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was last night. It was almost exactly 24 hours ago. And I did not come out of that one unscathed. It was, if anyone is working at Company X and is in Hawthorne and happened to see me today and you saw me walking down the hallway, I was walking very slowly and a little penguin-y, like a little kind of leaning against things. Whenever I was going upstairs, I was pressing down all of my weight on the railing. Ooh. No. Dan says, thanks for finishing that sentence. Jamie tried not to talk too much on the show. Since when? Yeah, exactly. No, I try not to talk too much about transition. It's an, where most of us are engineers. And so I think a lot of us, myself included, are really fascinated by the transition process because it's just an engineering thing, right? And yeah. So it ends up coming up in the space show, and a lot of space geeks are like, I don't care. Why are you talking about this? This isn't space related. And they're not wrong. It's not. And like, why are we? So yeah. Faith says, waddle. Oh yeah. Yeah, there was it was not good. It's still not good. It's not good. I was joking with Carrie Ann. I basically said it's preparation for next month. Next month? Almost next month. Yeah. As Data says, it's human factors engineering. Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, it hurts a lot. And I've got I'm meeting up with some Disney geeks tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And I have this really cool color blocked. It kind of looks like a Pride dress, but it's not. It's actually, I think, like a Kodak or Polaroid. I think it's Polaroid dress. So it's just a bunch of different colors, but they're blocked. It's really cool. It looks really nice. But whenever I'm wearing something like that, I actually wear some compression pieces to hold the bits in, because you don't want that to not be where they should be. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to. Like, everything's not great. I wonder if Dan's emojis, will... Oh, it works. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that is amazing. Well, welcome, Paige. Boop. Yeah, so again, I'm just setting up, I've got it. This is pretty clean. This isn't terrible. You can see the switch right there. Pulled that from my home network. But I didn't want to, here's the deal. I didn't want to run individual Ethernet cables because who knows how many devices I'm going to need out here. So I've got that one Ethernet cable that needs to be fished still down through the ceiling and whatnot. And then the other two just go from here, but they need to supply PoE for these boxes. So that's, yeah. Ooh, this is a good one. What's the weirdest question you get asked about transitioning? I'm not sure that I look at it that way, because to most people, I think most people just don't understand or know, and their questions are genuine curiosity. And so I don't view those as weird questions. I view them as genuine curiosity. And, they're just questions. Some questions, very few, but some questions are more designed to be insulting. Not a lot, but a few. And then some questions are, they don't start out insulting, but they're designed to back me into a corner and kind of have a gotcha moment. And so those suck. Those aren't really weird questions, but they're definitely like, that's what I get a lot. But if you look online, I feel bad for people a little bit, because this is my community effectively, but there are a lot of people who are at this point afraid of transgender men and women, more specifically afraid of asking questions or of saying something wrong, because there's an assumption that we are going to scream at them for not doing what we want them to do, for screwing up my pronouns or screwing up my name or screwing up, you're not supposed to talk about X, Y, or Z anymore. That's not okay. And you can see this fear in people when they're asking me these questions, like they pre-apologize. And I appreciate that they are trying to be sensitive to my feelings and my needs, and I absolutely appreciate that. That's very kind and nice of them. However, I also feel bad that they're afraid to ask questions without the possibility of me, like there's kind of now this social assumption that I'm allowed to yell at them or jump down their throat because I don't know why, but there it is. And I don't like that. So I'm very, very careful to not ever correct anyone on pronouns, not ever correct anyone on names. Now, obviously, that's just me. That doesn't apply to any other transgender man or woman or anyone that's not anything, right? But in order for me to create an open dialogue where people feel comfortable coming to me with questions, I did it again. I'm going to have to find another way to do this. Otherwise, my boobs are going to keep moving the microphone. In order to find a way to allow people to ask questions and feel comfortable asking questions, I have to make sure that I create that environment for them. And to create that environment, I just can't yell at people or call them stupid or anything like that. Also, why would you want to? Again, when people are curious, like, yeah. And, you know, as Faith says, and it absolutely is, people have different levels of sensitivity on the topic, and that's understandable. It absolutely is. And I can say, you know, there are times when I want to be like, no, that's not what you should say there. But I don't, and I hold back. But I'll say emotionally, some of it really hurts. And it's really difficult. And it's hard to describe. But like, I finally came to terms with who I am. I finally accepted it myself, which was a multi-decade journey, right? This was not an overnight thing. This has been going on for 20 plus years. I think close to 25 at this point. Oh my God, actually it has been 25. And so, you know, that's been going on for a while, and I finally accept it. And then I have to go through this horrible, awkward middle stage during transition itself where, you know, it's not fun. And you don't have a choice. You have to go through this phase. And, you know, I can see where I distinctly remember times where I'm at work, I've got vendors coming in, and I'm clearly wearing a skirt, and, you know, I'm not as busty as I am now, and I didn't have face surgery yet, so there was still a lot there, but like, I'm clearly dressing feminine, and they were saying sir and he, and I didn't yell at them, I didn't jump down their throat, and I never corrected them. But I was like, really? Really? I'm wearing a skirt. Like, but also, how would they know, right? Because just because I'm wearing a skirt doesn't mean that, like, they shouldn't make any assumptions. So, yeah. Yep. Paige brings up another interesting point, which is I think there's a huge assumption because of social media. A lot of hate comes off social media and transitions to real life. A lot of people are afraid of misgendering, and that's okay. You know, and I do, again, I actually appreciate the idea that they don't want to misgender me. Like, they're trying to be kind. But more than that, I want them to be comfortable with me and comfortable around me. I think, to me, that's more important than anything else. I don't want them to be uncomfortable. And a lot of my transition has gone towards that very thing. So, again, this only applies to me and doesn't apply to anyone else. When I first started transition, I would ask Carrie Ann, not in the very, very beginning. In the very, very beginning, I knew what the answer was. But, you know, things very slowly, you start to move the dial. I suppose it has to go this way on camera, doesn't it? But you slowly start to move the dial from male over to female. And when you get to about here, maybe here, you have days where you look more feminine or look more masculine. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, I have biological needs, such as using a restroom. I'm out in public. Where do I go? Where will I make the? And here's the interesting thing: there are a lot of people who argue about, like, well, okay, I'll just say my debate in my head is, where do I go where I will make the least number of people uncomfortable? And so I would constantly ask Carrie Ann or the people around me, do I look more male or female today? And the tricky bit is sometimes they would answer that I look more female when maybe I didn't, because they wanted me to feel good about wherever I was, and or they were just like, just use the women's restroom. Carrie Ann yelled at me for a very long time about that. And but I wouldn't. Like, I wasn't comfortable doing that until I wasn't comfortable doing that until I wasn't making other people uncomfortable. Well, I mean, that's actually a decent question. Question is, would you have to sit down to pee or not? In a women's restroom, then yeah, absolutely. You don't have a choice. There are no urinals. So, and the other, I'm going to go into TMI, there's a difference in, when urinating, there's a difference in stream angle, right, between women and a man sitting. And so I realized that I sounded different. And that made me uncomfortable too, because I'm like, oh, this is giving me away. And like these other, if they're paying any attention, they're going, well, what the hell? Why is that so different? And so I actually was working on methods to make it sound the same. Now, come September 7th, probably actually, because I'll be on 7, 8. I can't do this in my head. Hang on. I'm going to tell you the first time I'm going to use a restroom. I can actually tell you approximately the first time I use a restroom after surgery will be. So here's the. Check this out. I go into surgery on September 7th, but the first time I will use a restroom will be September 13th. So on September 13th, that problem should go away, and I shouldn't have that anymore. Yeah, as Faith says, it's stream angle, right? And it totally is. So it's like, Tim figured this part out. Yep, it's a catheter. Yeah, yep. And so I'm discharged on the Friday. So what is that, September? I should have just left this open. September 10th, I leave the hospital and I go to a different hotel, like I go to a hotel room, but the catheter remains in, so I will have to transport with a pee bag, basically. I'm looking forward to that. Tim, you bring up an interesting thing that I've thought about a lot, which is it's sad that you bear the burden for making others uncomfortable. Yes and no. So I do my best to put myself in their shoes, just as like if I'm going to ask them to put themselves in my shoes and help, try to understand where I'm coming from, I think it's only fair for me to do the same for them and understand where they're coming from. And it's, people don't like things that they don't understand. They don't like things that they don't know. And while we are getting better from a societal standpoint, we're nowhere near like just acceptance, or this isn't the norm yet. And because of that, you just have to be conscious and self-aware of how you're being perceived by other people in society and how that's making them comfortable or uncomfortable. I did not get to choose to be transgender. So let's be clear about that. Like, this is not a choice that I made. I just am. If I could choose not to be, I would not be, because this is terrible. It's very painful. It's very expensive. It's very uncomfortable. You don't choose to be transgender. However, there is a choice, and the choice is, do you do something about it? Now, for some transgender men and women, they will say, that's no choice at all. Obviously, I have to, right? The mental state is, wherever it is not in a great place. Like, I have to, or I just cease to exist. And I get that, but it is still a choice. Now, it might be a very easy choice, but it's still a choice. Now, for me, it was a little bit different. I actually didn't know. So I knew I was transgender, but I wasn't sure I was going to do anything about it. I was like, look, I've lived half of my life happily as male. I can get by. Well, I thought I could get by the other half of my life. I don't think I actually would have been able to. Well, knowing what I know now, there's very little. Yeah, it would have been difficult, but yep. Tim says, never thought about stream angle and what it sounds like to pee. That's fascinating. I didn't think about it either until I realized it was a thing, and then I went, I gotta fix this. J. Michael says a pee bag is much better than a colonoscopy bag. Gross. Human person, yeah. So this is an interesting topic. A human person knows someone who chose not to transition, and he's happy with it too. Yeah, I think there's this assumption that all transgender men and women are severely depressed or, broken somehow. And I don't think that that's fair. It is, there is a very strong, there is a very strong disconnect. There's a very strong disconnect that is very uncomfortable, but I don't view myself as broken, and I'm certainly not unhappy. It's just not right. And so I'm making strides to make it right, but I could have been happy just staying as male. Would have saved me a lot of money, would have saved me a lot of pain. And a lot of discomfort, like social, I don't mean physical discomfort, I mean like social discomfort for me, and then the inner circles, right? So I do my best. Here's the other thing is I do my best to make everyone around me comfortable. I try to be cognizant of that. So if I look more male, then I'll use the men's restroom. If I look more female, I haven't used the men's restroom in a very long time at this point. I can't anymore. But I also don't care. So I care about my family and friends. I care about those kind of immediate circles of people of influence around my life, my orbit of people. But once we get past that, and once we get to general populace of people I'm not going to see again, I will do my best to make them not be uncomfortable. But if they are uncomfortable, that's kind of on them too. There's only so much I can do, and if they're not willing to try at all, it's oh, I'm not going to see you ever again. So I'll do my best to not make you uncomfortable, but I also don't, this is going to sound terrible, but I don't care about you. You're not part of the circle of influence. You're not in my orbit. So I'm not going to go out of my way and make myself insanely uncomfortable just because you have an issue. I don't know if that makes sense. There's a balancing act there, I think is what I'm trying to say. Oh my God. Faith has had 6 open heart surgeries and still not looking forward to bottom surgery. Wow. I've heard, I haven't not gone through bottom surgery myself yet, but I have gone through 3 other surgeries. I did face surgery, I did breast augmentation and body sculpting, and I did hair surgery. And all 3 were very different. Arguably the hardest was face surgery, facial feminization surgery. That was where what they did was, I'll have to take these off. It's weird not being able to hear myself. I have no idea if I sound good. You can actually see that I've got a fairly decent hairline now. It's not nearly as pulled back as it was before because my hairline used to come pretty far back. It wasn't really a receding hairline. I just had that was just always my hair. I didn't look super feminine. So what they did is they took a strip. They don't knock you out for this. You're awake the entire time. Now they give you pain blockers, but they don't knock you out. So you lay face down. They pull your hair back. They take a shears or what are they, the buzzer, and they buzz off a couple rows, and then they take a scalpel. They cut that area of skin in kind of a rectangle area. So there's a rectangle back there. Back here, sorry. So they cut that, and then they rip it out. Again, I'm conscious. So I can't feel it. I don't feel the pain or the scalpel, but you can feel the ripping and you can hear it, which is really gross. Also, while you don't feel sharp stabbing pain, I could absolutely, I'm sorry, I will go through this quickly and then but you can feel the blood kind of dripping down the neck. So that's gross too. So they do that. And then they just take it and they sew it back together, right? So they just take those 2 ends that they created and they just pull them back. And so there's no hairline or anything. If I turn around, you're not gonna be able to see, right? You can't see where they took it out because they just pulled it back together. which is pretty cool. Then what they do is they go away for a hot minute. They cut it into bits and they basically take out each individual hair one at a time. So each hair is now separated, stem and everything, like the root, the whole hair. They actually leave a little bit of the skin just around it. Then they get a count, and they count how many hairs they have. In my case, it was about 3,800 usable hairs. Yeah, that's right. They go away for a hot minute. That's what I said. Thanks, Dada. So they come back and they go, okay, well, we got about 3,800 usable hairs. So he takes a tool that's basically just a really thick needle. I mean, but like it's almost like a nail. We'll call it a nail. And he just starts going 1, 2, 3, 4, like just jabbing it into my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 311, 312, 313, up to 3,800. So they basically just sit there and just jab holes into my head, giving them where they're going to place these new hairs. Then they come back with all of the hairs, and they've got a team of people around me that then start sticking the hairs into all of these individual holes. That's all great, except that this process is like from start to finish about 12 hours. Well, the pain blockers don't last that long. And so Marcus, sounds brutal. Yeah, so as long as the pain blockers are working, not brutal at all, you don't feel much of any of it. It's kind of weird, but like not brutal. But when the pain blockers stop working while they're jabbing hairs into your head. Yep. And here's the thing with pain blockers. They don't just kind of gradually go off, at least not on me. They kind of just go thunk and stop working. And so I was like, I think I'm starting to be able to feel it again. They're like, okay, do you need something now? I'm like, I think we got a little bit, but like, yeah, you should get the doctor over here and we should start working on, the next one. And so they're, okay. So they leave to go grab them. And like, not 30 seconds later, I can really start to feel it. Like cause they're basically sticking a knife in my head over and over and over again on each individual side. And I'm like, I can do this for a couple minutes. I'll breathe through the pain. I'm fine. I'll breathe through the pain. And there's just a point where your brain can't and your body can't. And it was so much and it was so intense. I just, like, out of the blue, broke down. I just burst into tears, and they were so sweet. So, they're working, and they immediately take everything that they're actively working on, pull it away from my head and back away from me. And I'm trying to apologize because like now I'm keeping them there later and they're trying to figure out what's wrong. I'm like, this hurts so much. And they're like, you could have told us. I'm like, I thought I could get through it. Yeah, Kitty says you can only breathe so much. Ooh, sorry. You can only breathe so much through the pain. Yeah, giving birth, I probably gotta be way worse than this. That I've never broken down over pain like that before. And then they came, and now the nerve endings are like super sensitive, right? Because if they don't perceive the pain, then you're kind of okay. Because like they'll go in and they'll block them again. It'll hurt, but now they're like super active and they have to go in with the pain blockers with more needles to like knock them out. And so I'm just grabbing onto the chair for dear life, just waiting for them to kick in. Once they kicked in, couldn't feel anything anymore, and I was fine. But yeah, Faith, this is what I learned from that moment too. One thing I learned from being in the hospital is never ever just tough it out. Yeah, I completely and totally agree. So, regardless, like, they transfer the hair in, and so I think someone asked earlier, like, if it was hairline, what was it, hair, whatever it is. Yeah, they extended my hairline forward. And then they also, like I was thinning out in the back a little bit, so they put some back there too. So they finished all of that up, and they're like, okay, well, in like 3 to 4 weeks, all your hair is going to fall out. And I'm like, ha ha ha, funny. They're like, no, really. Like, it's all taking hold, but like this shaft that you see sticking out of your head, like that's effectively dead now. You need to grow a new one, and so don't freak out when quite literally all of this new hair suddenly goes away. I'm like, okay. So 3 weeks comes and I hadn't lost really much of anything. 4 weeks comes, haven't really lost much of anything. 5 weeks come, still haven't really lost much of anything. I'm like, maybe my hair just survived. Maybe I did great. Then at 5 weeks and like 2 days, it all just went. I was like, oh, maybe not. I was like, okay. So then it should take like another 3 or 4 weeks before you start to see it again, because like it all fell out. 3 more weeks comes by and I'm like, I don't see anything. 4 more weeks goes by, I'm like, I still don't see anything. 5 weeks comes by, like I'm starting to see patches. I'm like, okay, well maybe, but like, because you can have hair death, right? You can lose some of your hair. And I was like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Did I not take care of my hair like I was supposed to? Because I was not matching up with the timelines that they gave me. And then it was like all at once. It was like a weed. It just went poof, and popped out of my head. And now it's like, let's see here. Like, it's not super long, but it's this long, right? So I can pull on it a little bit. It's real. I mean, it's real hair. Ow. That was stupid. It's real hair. It's my hair, right? So, thanks, Kitty. Chia. So yeah, and now I have to wait. So we've been kind of maintaining my haircut. Carrie Ann's been great about it. So started with a male haircut, been growing it out, and it doesn't grow correctly because it was cut for male haircut. So it would grow down to like here, and then she'd pull it back up so that you could get it like kind of even, and then it'd grow back down to here, and she'd pull it back up. Grow back down, pull it back up. It's like 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps backward. So recently I just had another haircut. She took a good 2 inches off, which was needed. But there's still going to be one more. I'll try to show you. I keep taking my headphones off. So if you look, there's a shelf in my hair, like right. So this hair ends here, and then it shelves, and then it goes down. So this needs to grow down to about here, and then this hair will obviously be down to here. So then what will happen once this hair is down to about here, maybe a little lower, she'll pull it all back up, and then all of this will be even. But then this hair will be down to about here by then. So we have to do this twice more, right? So there's gonna be one where we kind of level up this part of the hair, but then we got to do it another again when this hair is long enough. And that's gonna take a hot minute. That's gonna take like a year and a half. So. Oh, very sweet. It says my hair is beautiful. It's coming along. Like it's getting better. Like everything's getting better. As Dutta says, and couldn't agree more. It's a process. Absolutely. I'm getting aggressive on that camera 3 button. It's like, here's this thing now. Back to me. Comment back to me. You need to see my face. They said something back to me. Let's see here. What else we got? Yeah, so that was hair. Face was very different. So I think bottom surgery might be easier than face. So that was hair surgery, and arguably hair surgery of the 3 was probably the easiest. So actually I'll go from easiest to hardest. So hair surgery was the easiest. The middle one that I've had so far is breast augmentation and body sculpting. And I think the breast augmentation was actually pretty easy. It was sore, it hurt, it wasn't great, but like, it wasn't bad. However, body sculpting, which is basically, it's not just liposuction. So they lipo out kind of like in this area, and then they move it. So they gave me hips. So they took the fat out, but then put the fat back in my body. And they actually did they did that with face surgery too, but I'll get in that. So, yeah, the sculpting part is basically just putting it all back in. Now you're going to lose, so when you pull the fat out immediately off the bat, like 25% of it can't be used. So you lose 25%. Then they put it back in, but then after they put it back in, after a few weeks, you're going to lose about 50% of it. So you lose a good chunk of the fat that they put back in. So they overfill the areas that they want to do because it's going to come back. But at first, I freaked out a little bit because it was like, this is a lot. But I feel like it I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry, Dan. That's what this dream is. So, but it's not too terrible. So, so yeah, that's what that is. And the painful bit of that is when they're doing liposuction and they're pulling that fat out, they replace it with something, right? So they're going in, they basically create 4 incisions around my body. They go in with a tubey thing and they pull out all of the fat, and then they replace it with a liquid. Well, but now you've got separation between the skin and the muscle. Like there had been fat there that was kind of holding everything together, and now there's not. That hurts so much. So much. It hurts so much. What they do is they give you body compression pieces that press your skin back against your they press it against your muscle effectively. And like I knew I was gonna have to do that, but I was like, I'm probably not gonna end up wearing that. No. I was wearing that. It if you don't wear it, it hurts so much. So yeah. Paige. So much. Yeah. Let's see here. Dada asks, even if for yourself and for your own posterity, have you taken copious pictures of this whole process and the results of each stage? Yeah, so kind of, I wouldn't say copious because I work in, this is the industry I work in, so I don't take photos or videos because that's what I do for a day job, and I don't want to do it for fun too, right? Like, I'm already doing that. Having said that, like, we did take, like, before face pictures, after face pictures, and kind of during face pictures. I've got the, I don't know that I'll be able to call it up easily here. How would I get this? Oh, I know what I can do. Hang up. I can bring this up on air. Give me a second. I can show you a progress picture that I think is kind of what you're asking for. It's not exactly copious pictures, amount of pictures, but sorry, making noises. Okay, that was it. All right. Export this to my desktop. Open the Atom software. I have to actually open the Atom controller. All right. Sorry, everyone, but it'll be worth it. I promise. All right. I half promise. Yes. Media. We'll do number 4. Perfect. Right there. Media player 4. Brilliant. Check that out. Now, let's see here. On April 1st, that was April 2021. So that's actually a really great photo because you can see, hang on, let me do this, kind of pull my hair back. So you can actually see the hairline difference. If I go back, right? Look at that April photo, kind of bottom center. You can see how much has changed since April of this year. So, and as Carrie Ann likes to say, I keep getting sassier in each photo. And it might be hard to tell in the stream compression, but you can actually see, I don't know why, but you can see it in my eyes. I just get like happier and happier and happier, and you can just, there's something just different. What I really enjoyed, and this was by mistake, if you look at the bottom left and center photo, it almost looks like the planet continues its arc. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And yes, Lisa, I'm sure it wasn't April Toost. All right, hold up. I can bring that up. I can do that. There we go. April Toost. Yeah. As the mistress says, you can see a spark of joy in my eyes grow. Yeah. You really can. And yeah. Oh, okay. So that was breast augmentation and body sculpting. That was really all there was to it. Like it's very simple. It's exactly as it sounds. The thing is with breast augmentation, cis women and transgender women need slightly different things. When you go through male puberty, your skeletal structure will be different than if you go through female puberty. And I went through male puberty, and that meant that I had effectively broader shoulders, a broader and thicker chest bone, chest plate effectively, and my rib cage is thicker and comes out further. Now, there's not much you can do about your bones. Hormones, so technically speaking, hormones will impact your bones. A lot of people say that hormones don't change your bone structure. They actually do. The thing is, it takes decades, plural, and I'm doing this in years. So, so they effectively don't. That means that I have a broader, thicker chest plate. So if they were to try to put in breast implants like they would a regular woman, they'd be very far spread apart, and then they would be wrong. And I didn't want that, right? Like, without giving you too much information, which long gone around. I want a decent cleavage, right? Like if I'm going to pay for this, I want to have I want to look nice. Show off the girl. So I told him that that was one of the more important things. I didn't want them to be too big or too small. I have a larger frame, so I want them to match the size of my frame. That's what I was going for, and I wanted to make sure that they weren't too far spread apart. I wanted them to be able to come fairly close together. And he was very open and honest with me. He's like, well, look, you're not going to be able to get them straight together. That's not possible. We can't do that and make them look natural because I have that broader or thicker chest plate. So that's not going to be a thing. And they have to develop the pockets. So he said, but here's what we'll do. Once you go under, I'll go in. And now that I know what you want, give me a range. And I will pre-inflate something and see what looks good. And then we'll try to do it over the muscle and we'll try to do it under the muscle. And if you're able to go under the muscle, I recommend that. But what you're asking for, you probably won't. But I'll make a real-time call on that. I'm like, cool. So when I went into breast surgery, I didn't know if I was going over the muscle or under the muscle. I didn't know what size they were going to be. And I didn't know how far apart they were going to be. I knew very little about the surgery I was about to go through. I just had to trust my doctor, and I did, and I think he did a phenomenal job. Now I'm still waiting. The other thing with a male frame and male kind of setup is that it can, and in my case is, taking longer for everything to drop. So I gotta wait a while longer. Things are coming into place, but they're still just they're a little too high, right? So yeah. That was breast augmentation. And like I said, I had to trust my doctor, and I think he did just a great job. Two boobs, I would do again. I don't know. I'm very happy. It was funny when we were done, I was like, oh, maybe I wanted them bigger. It might have been nice to be bigger. And then I'm wearing clothing. I'm like, thank God they're not bigger. I wouldn't be able to wear anything decent if they were bigger. These are perfect. These are the exact right size for my frame. But you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And they needed a moment to they still need some time. They're just a little bit too up high. Yeah. Oh my God. And there's this amazing story. This is Tim Dodd's story, but I'm going to tell it anyhow. I probably shouldn't, but I don't care. So we're doing Yuri's Night Global Webcast. That's April. Oh, yeah, again, I look like, oh, that's interesting. It changes preview. So I look like, the bottom middle at this point. So I've, pretty far along. Most people would look at me and, in that bottom center section, kind of think female with a weird hairline. Smiley says gravity's taking its time. Yep. So that's how I look. And, the boobs were fairly new at that point. They went into December, and I hadn't seen Tim Dodd since then. So it's Yuri's night. And, I got Kyle in the control room. he's doing a bunch of production behind me. He's bringing in our guests, doing a bunch of stuff. And then I'm coordinating the live show. So I'm live switching the show, doing all of the audio, and then actually like moving people in and out of rooms as necessary. And, as they're on the air, I don't know how much you guys know about this, but they're on the air talking. I'm listening to what they're saying so I can cut back and forth, while at the same time I have a button where I can talk to the upcoming guests in the other room and be like, hey, just so you know, you're 2 minutes out, you're going to open here. This is what it's going to look like. And then, I'll give them like 16, whatever, so they can hear me and I can hear them. So it's actually very complicated because I'm doing a lot of stuff at the same time, but that's how live TV is. So, and the best part is, so I'm talking to the guests, I'm listening to what they're saying, and if they're bringing something up, like if they're talking about Planetary Society, I'm whipping over to grab the Planetary Society website so I can put that up on screen as well, because I don't know what they're going to talk about. So, they'll mention an asset, I'll go find the asset, I'll bring it on air while I'm talking to the guests. Cool. So Tim Dodd gets in the room, and everyone's in there with me, and he's like, oh my God, Jimmy, you're looking incredible. Nice boobs. But Simone Gates, the robot woman, I forgot her name, but Simone, she was there too, and she was like, what the? And he's like, no, it's okay, I know. And I'm just laughing at Tim. He was turning all shades of red, and I was like, 60 seconds. He was like, I'm so sorry. I don't care. They are great. I don't know. Oh my God, it's great. It's great. Okay, so, all right. As soon as Dan is back, we're going to have to start talking about terrible surgeries again. Those were those two surgeries. The hardest surgery was the facial feminization surgery by far. It was intense. And I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't, you don't know what you don't know, right? So for that, this is going to have to come off again. So what they do is, and you have to do this before you do hairline advancement, or at least you should. They basically cut from here all the way down to your ears. So I actually have a scar on the top of my head back here all the way down, and this scar actually kind of goes, it followed my old hairline, so it actually went back, and I had a it was over here. Yeah, it was over here. I had a structured cyst right here, and I know that's where the hairline effectively ended, was at the structured cyst. So I'm like, can you take that out too? And they're like, sure. So so they go in, they basically pull the face forward, so they peel back everything. He took out the cysts, which was nice of them. They when boys go through male puberty, there's an additional bone that kind of gets built up right over the brow, call it a brow bone, that women don't get. There's also, so you end up with this really kind of interesting shape. So men have not a very smooth shape to their forehead. They kind of have like a little bit of extra bumps and kind of like shape up in this area. So, and it's not a lot. It's just a couple millimeters or a millimeter. But the thing is, when it comes to gender and when it comes to perceiving one's gender, millimeters matter. So they shave all of that down and they smooth that all out, and they try to make the forehead as nice and smooth as possible, which will get you kind of a feminine shape. Then they also try to do a hairline advancement. So rather than pulling this up like this, they pull this as far down as possible to get the hair try to fill in as much of the hairline as they can without needing to do transplants, because transplants are very expensive and very difficult, but you can move a lot of hair all at once just by pulling it forward. While they're there, they also did a rhinoplasty, so the nose. So my whole nose, women have a slightly smaller and up-tipped nose than men. Men, not all women, right? Everyone's different, but generally speaking, that's a slight up-tip of the nose and a little bit smaller. This was actually, because I did face surgery first, this was the first fat transplant I did. So they took some fat out of my back, I think it was. It might have been my gut, I don't remember. No, I think it was my back. And they moved it into my cheeks. Women have more fat in the cheekbones, so much larger, like you can actually see it up in here, right? Just when I smile, I just have slightly larger cheek. And again, you lose 25% of it right away and then 50% of it. So I was walking around, even when my face was relaxed, my cheeks were like this, and I could actually at first see my own cheeks all the time, which was weird. Like I could always see my cheeks. I'm like, this is intense. That's gone away because like a lot of that fat has kind of gone down. But like, yeah. Then women tend to have a more a streamlined chin. So it comes to a tighter point. There's not as much of a kind of a straight line and a thinner frame. So they went in, they broke my chin and pulled it together and then shaved back my jawline. And they did that from the inside of my mouth. So they went in, shaved back this bone, and then pulled this chin area in to give me a smaller chin. And you can actually sort of kind of see that in this photo. So you can kind of see, actually, if you look pre-surgery, so that's going to be like the bottom two photos, or even the bottom and then like the middle two photos is actually a pretty good example. You can actually see I have a much more square face. And then after facial feminization surgery, it's rounded off. The thing is, my face is actually still technically healing. It takes a good full year for your face to heal. You know, that's a while, and I'm not at a year yet. Although like 95% of it's done, so there's not a whole lot more going on. So, this one was interesting, and I didn't realize this. On average, women have a smaller distance from the bottom of the nose to the top of their lip. And so what they did was they pulled my lip higher. And if you look, you can actually see, if you look at my upper lip, you can see my upper lip is a little bit larger after the surgery in that middle frame on the bottom as opposed to the middle frame on the top. Now, I still had pretty big lips to begin with, but my upper lip is quite a bit larger now. And that is a side effect of them pulling the lip up because it rolled out ever so slightly. And at first I was like, this is not good. I do not like how this ended up. But the lip, at least. Everything else I was like, okay, I can see where this is going, but the lip, I'm going to need a modification here. But again, got to trust my doctors. They know what they're doing and I don't. So over time, over the months, it took months, the swelling and all of this kind of came down and the lips kind of slid into position. And then I was like, oh, actually, yeah, that's exactly correct. This is exactly the size and shape that this lip should be. And my face surgeon mentioned something that I had never perceived before, and now I'm going to tell you, and if you knew it, then you'd be like, whatever, how did you not know it? But if you didn't, now you're going to see it everywhere. And that is, when men talk, you generally don't see their upper teeth. But when women talk, you do. Not always, but on average, you're going to see as women are talking, their upper teeth, because they have a higher upper lip. I was like, huh, okay. And so, yeah, it was a whole lot of like looking at it, because Carrie Ann and I would go to breakfast and just kind of look around for like men and women talking and be like, oh my God, look, there and there and there and there. And then the other stuff of like, you know, how men get up versus how women get up out of chairs, how men sit versus how women sit. It's all very different. But there's like how men get up versus women. That's not a biological thing. That's just as kids, we mimic the gender that we associate with. And so that's just what we do. One of the first things we learn as young children is gender. And like we learn how to perceive gender. And so then we just start mimicking that. And that's how we, when women sit in chairs, they usually make an S shape. So there'll be a little bit of a lean, like creating a curvature to the body. Men will sit straight and sometimes back. Yeah, anyhow. Yeah. Paige says, those headphones have been off your head longer than they've been on. Thanks. Dada asks, did that not affect your teeth? I assume you're talking about the jaw stuff. No, it didn't, because they were kind of like underneath it, so the teeth structure stayed the same. I did do Invisalign. That was one of the first things that I started. So that obviously impacted my teeth. I had to stop Invisalign after surgery, so I said it didn't impact my teeth. It did slightly, but nothing that Invisalign couldn't correct. But I couldn't put because of the surgery on the inside, I couldn't put them, like, that hurt. Like, I mean, it hurt. So I couldn't put much of anything in my mouth. Like, I could barely eat food, and there was no way Invisalign was making it in. Yes. Well, so you never stop Invisalign. So I started Invisalign before facial feminization surgery, but it was not complete until after facial feminization surgery. And even then, I still have to wear trays effectively every night to keep things in alignment, which I totally do. If my dentist is watching, I absolutely do that, and I never cheat, ever. I always wear my trays. Always. What else we got? Oh, this is a good point from Faith. When I was talking about facial feminization surgery and like some of the things and like in general, yeah, they were all of that was generalizations. Every human is different. You can be a cis woman and have extra brow ridge. In fact, a lot of cis women do. And it's how it all goes together that actually creates that perception. But again, it's millimeters matter. And so if we can, because I'm biologically male, that's not changing. I can't change my sex. I can change my gender, but not my sex. So, because I was biologically male, but more specifically because I went through male puberty, that changed my bone structure. And so the closer we can get it to an idealistic female face, I don't know, get those elements as close as possible, the easier it will be for people to perceive me as female. And I have things that work against me, and I was talking about this earlier, and people disagree with me or whatever, but my voice isn't right yet. I don't EFI enough. My octave isn't quite in the right place. It doesn't feel or sound natural yet. Now, if you can see me and you hear my voice, you're gonna go, okay, female-ish, like weird, but that works. Something like maybe she's a smoker. But if you only hear me on the phone, you're probably going to think more male. Like, if you had to guess, you'd probably guess male. I know this for fact. Like, I have people call me and they say, sir. And I'm like, face is the most painful thing I've done. These surgeries are very painful and not pleasant, but voice is the hardest part of transition, hands down, because you have to completely unlearn decades worth of speaking, and you have to completely and totally change muscles that you don't normally think about. And it is complicated. It is really, really hard to do. And the worst part of all of it is when you practice, you sound so wrong. You sound so fake. You sound like you're trying to put on a voice because you're trying to put on a voice. And you're trying to reteach those muscles what to do, and you're changing the orientation of your tongue in your mouth, and that's weird and feels different, and it just is not good. And the really horrible part about that is a lot of this transition takes time. Even after face surgery, like you're in a hang on, let me see if I can find it. Like, you're in a whole get up. Let's see. Oh, that's a good boob day. Oh, I've learned that there is such a thing as a good and bad boob day. My boob days are getting better. I've had a couple good ones, but okay, let's see here. This is amazing. I think you guys are gonna like this. Oh my god. You're welcome, internet. This is incredible. Next, okay. To the desktop. Oh, whoops. Desktop. Export. Media. Okay. Y'all ready for this? This is what it looked like right after face surgery. My favorite bit, I can't see it from the TV I'm looking at, but there's a little bit of tuft of hair sticking out the back of it. Look at the bruising underneath my eyes. Those black marks, that's bruising. So you can see, and then they have a structure over my nose that I can't, like you can see how much of my face they worked on, right? Like under the nose and the cheeks, on the chin. With the horrible part about all of that was, was after surgery. Surgery was on Tuesday, and by Thursday night, my eyes were almost completely swollen shut. And when your eyes are swollen shut and you can't breathe correctly and you can't really eat, the lizard part of your brain starts to kick in and you start to kind of panic a little bit. However, and it all really, really hurt. And so that wasn't great. Just from a mental standpoint, it wasn't great. Wait, hold up. I'm so beautiful in that picture? Hey now, like, in this picture? Shenanigans. I'm all swollen-y up. Shenanigans. Yeah. So face is the worst. And so I think bottom surgery will be bad. It's going to be bad. But I don't think it'll be the worst. I think face is going to be the worst. And that is what my electrologist said as well. She's like, yeah, everyone basically says, bottom surgery is not easy, but face is far worse. And I think the reason face is worse is because eyes swell shut, really hard to breathe, really hard to eat. And so again, lizard part of the brain kicks in. Whereas with bottom surgery, that's not going to be fun. It's going to hurt. There's going to be physical pain. There's going to be physical pain, but I'm going to be able to breathe. I'm going to kind of be able to eat, not really, but like at least I'm physically capable of doing it. And instead of the pain being like my whole head, it'll be kind of isolated in one area. Oh, actually, Marty, this would be interesting, and that is a live chat after this surgery. Maybe, like, it kind of depends on how I'm feeling, but yeah, I think that would be fun. Like, it would be. Oh, Austin. Wait, hold up. New profile pic of like, hold up, you want this to be my profile pic? Is that what you're saying? Like, that? Should I? I'm gonna do it. Let's see here. I think this is gonna be awesome. I think everyone's gonna love it. Hold up. I'm doing it right now. Oh wait, I have to edit profile. That's what I gotta do. Upload. Come on, Tweety Birds. Really? Oh, did I crash the app? I'm not sure I can. Okay, hold up. We're making this happen. This is happening. Twitter. Boop. You have to say boop. Is everyone excited for this? Human person. Weird question. Can you keep some of the bits, like have them in a jar? I don't want the bits at all. Also, most of it, not all of it, but a majority of it gets reused. Men and women are basically made of the same bits. They just are in different spots. The two bits are actually kind of the same thing. They started off as the same thing. It's just that in women, they kind of moved to become, what did they become? Something in the fallopian tubes or the ovaries. The ovaries. And in men, they become the testicles. All right. And now I'm demonetized. I'm deplatformed because I said that word. Let's see here. I gotta go all the way back to Minnesota. Wait. Okay, that's Starbase, so I think this is... Okay. That's them drawing on my head. That was a good boob day. Ran across that picture again. That was... yikes. Some of these photos. You know, the other really interesting thing is there are some days where I'm like, oh, I'm doing really well. And here we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey, hold up. Now we have to decide. Okay, I found the pictures, but I've forgotten that I have a couple really good ones. Oh my god. Alright, hang on, guys. Let me get this for you. This is incredible. I think you're gonna like this. Let's see your images. Let's just quit out of this. All right. I wonder if I can... Not from there. How's that? So the head wrapping came off. Look at that upper lip. Like you can see how I'm like, what in the world? I did have FFS with Dr. Rolfus. Yeah. I would, for any transgender women out there who are considering facial feminization surgery, Dr. Rolfus was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think he did, like, if you look at my face, I think he did a really great job. Like, just incredible. I loved every bit of it. Yeah, if out in Wayzata, that's exactly correct. He is, and keep in mind, what I was doing is I was looking for the best doctors in the country. The deal I had with my parents is, so first off, before I get too far into that, so we're going with this picture. This is option A. So you're voting for option A or option B. Let's drop that over there. Whoops. A, B. We got two B's. B, everyone's saying B. A, B. Everyone's liking B? Okay, B. Oops. Let's see here. Dang it. B for week and then A. That's clever. Unfortunately, I hit a wrong button and I lost my place. So, here we go. That's Minnesota. Okay. Y'all have my Twitter account up because this is happening. Yep. Man, it crashed on Twitter. Oh wow, it really broke my phone. What is going on with Twitter? Why can't I update my profile picture? Dang it. Well, this may not happen. I have cute kitten photos. Okay. You know, maybe it needs to download from the cloud. We're going to give that a moment. Let's go back to there. Yeah, I should get like media players and things installed over here so I can just load things in really quickly. Oh, there we go. There we go. It just had to download from the cloud. Here we go, people. Done. You're welcome. Yes, I strongly, highly encourage Dr. Rolfus. I also looked at Dr. Lee, who is here in Beverly Hills, and he was quite a bit more expensive. he probably was on par, like that he's known as one of the best, but I didn't have the same connection with him. Like, I felt like with him, I was just another thing, just another client. Whereas with Dr. Rolfus, I felt he truly, honestly cared. He listened to me. He spoke. First off, he listened. But then on top of that, and not that no one else did, but like he was able to then say, okay, this is what I hear you saying. This is what we can do. Like, this is what I think will actually work based on what you're trying to tell me. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I'm going for. And I didn't get that with many other doctors. There was one other doctor. And the nice thing about, and the other nice thing about Dr. Rolfus is his front office staff is really a delight to work with. So they're very easygoing. They're very communicative. They're just fantastic people all the way around. So the entire experience from front to finish is great. And he sets expectations properly. I can't say enough phenomenal things about him. Some of the other doctors, and I'm not going to mention their office names, but like there was one doctor I was like, oh my, it was similar to Dr. Roll. I'm like, you're saying what I want you to hear. Well, not what I want, but like you're telling me things that I appreciate. Like you're not telling me what I want to hear, but you're telling me the data that I need. You're giving me good data. I understand what you're saying. You're regurgitating back to me what I'm looking for in a different way. This is perfect. I'm going to go with you. He was also local. He was in, I don't remember where he was, but he was here in California. And then I had to deal with his front desk staff, most horrible people ever. And I was like, look, if this is the level of support I'm getting before surgery, if I have a complication, I don't want to have to deal with you people after surgery. This is terrible. Like they DJAF. They were awful. And so I noped out. But Dr. Lee's, frankly, I didn't like the doctor as much, but his front of house staff was the best. They were on top of things. They were non-pressuring, just whatever I needed. Here's a bottle of water to go, like one of those things. Let's see here, Dud. I had a question. Let me get back to the chat. Here we go. So first off, I totally did. I absolutely did. And oh my God, I already have 20 plus people. Oh, you know what I should do? Hang on. Really quickly here. Let me... This is too bad. I thought I had... I don't have it up. Okay. Launch GUI. Give me a second. I want to get a couple more buttons here. So, buttons. So let's do here. Okay. Then this needs to be regular button. Media 1. Media player 1. Media 2. Sorry. I'm almost done here. Whoa. Media 2. This is fascinating television. I'll say I feel like I've been doing pretty good bouncing back and forth on the panel. Like the Stream Deck helps a lot. Media player 2. Media 3. Here, yeah, you guys can look at that while I'm. That does not work as well on the screen. Like, that's where you wish you had a QR code. I'm just kidding. Like, that's not useful. To hear Media 4. Program. Cool. And here we go. We're going to do Apple TV. Awesome. So now if I go here, okay. And I should be able to go here. Nope. I know how to Macintosh. Go here. 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 Oh no, everyone's typed in my code. What are we going to do? Everything got teeny tiny. That's interesting. Let's make this less teeny tiny. Will I do that? Wow, it got really teeny tiny. Ugh. I'm very blind. Oh, I see. The problem is, it's 4K out of the system. Here, let's do this. Oh, much better. But when I do 1080p, so much easier to read. Look at that. So, okay. Also, I programmed in this button so you can see the technical director's station, which is kind of cool. And then I can do, like, I can jump to my different media players now directly with button presses. Austin says, macOS scares me. I can hit buttons. macOS scares me. I've used Windows and Chrome before, but I feel completely powerless with macOS. So we actually use all three operating, well, not all three, but there are a lot more than three, but we use 3 operating systems here at Tomorrow. We use macOS, obviously, and this is on M1 hardware, which is why I've been able to run this. This has not been plugged into a charger, has been powering an external device this entire time. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, here is my battery. It is at 79%. The M1s are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I had a point. I don't remember what the point is. Oh, so Macs, and then we also use that. We have an iMac Pro that we use for editing, and then I've got Windows boxes. So my primary Casper CG playback system is Windows. The primary technical director console. So if I come back over here, I think I can call it up actually. Oh yeah, look at this. There you go. There's the TD's computer. That's where the technical director sits. So they can actually bring their screen up on air at any time as well. Basically anything can go on air at any time. It's pretty cool. Or even like this is my laptop here, right? So you can actually see me working and doing whatever it is I need to do. And that's, that's this computer, which is pretty cool, right? So when we're doing the live shows, what we'll do is exactly what you see here is we're going to share our desktops from our computers back with the control room. And then Dutta is going to be able to go, oh, hey, Jamie has something up. That's really cool. And, that would be, whatever I've called up. Because it's going to be not about pre-prepared stuff at all. It's all going to be about real-time stuff. So it's whoever can get to it first, right? Can Dutta get to it on the technical director's computer first? Can I get to it on my laptop first? Will Carrie Ann call it up? Like, where's that going to come from? That's the plan, at least. And then we have Ubuntu here as well. In fact, that right there, that's Ubuntu. That's Ubuntu 20.04. And I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting it to work with Casper C. It's just bouncing right off the boob. It's right. So the boobs have names. So this one's Delta and this one's V. And the microphone keeps hitting Delta and creating V. Oh, that's hilarious. I love this comment. Something fierce. So yeah, Ubuntu 20.04, and it is Casper CG is running, Scanner is running, the Decklink cards work. We can output video. We just can't get HTML to work. And I think it might be something to do with Chromium, or specifically how it builds Chromium with Casper, but I'm not actually getting any dependency errors, so I don't understand. And it's not logging anything of value to the log file, so yeah. Oh, hey, Faith, Delta, and V. Well, right? I mean, come on. I'm a space nerd. What do you want? And those are legitimately their names. And this one legitimately is Delta, and this one legitimately is V. And Carrie Ann knows this too. And so if I accidentally hit it, or I'm like, ooh, because after you have breast augmentation, you'll get like stabbing pains, specific, like sometimes in the nipple area, and I'll be like, out in public, I'm like, ow! And she's like, Delta or V? Sometimes I'm like, both! So speaking of Delta V and space names, I'm thinking of calling the live show, because I like to have a clever name for the live show, Acquisition of Signal, or AOS. And the reason is, what I would like to do, I mean, outside of the idea that it's a space nerdy name and I love it, we're on station, right? We're on station 204. And so prior to the live show going live, rather than seeing us dork around, I'm going to have kind of like SpaceX has the pre-show slate, just says SpaceX with the blue stars and some music. I think I'm going to do something similar, but it's going to be different music, obviously. And then I kind of want to have, like, tomorrow, station 204, loss of signal, expected AOS, and then it counts down into the show. And then once we have expected AOS, we go into like a really quick, like 5-second intro. We come in, we do coming up on the show, blah, 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 blah. And then we've acquired signal. Welcome aboard station 204. And then boom, straight into the intro itself, which would be another like whatever. And then we come out to this camera. That's what I'm thinking. AOS expected and T-minus something. And then it would be like right down over here, be like the tomorrow logo, station 204, unexpected loss of signal, acquisition of signal, expected loss of signal, acquisition of signal in T-minus, and then that's just counting down into the show itself. No, AOS, you never have you'll have AOS over Bermuda, but there's usually, it's Diego Garcia. That's the ground station. AOS on Diego Garcia, TX1 is not responding. Like, oh, come on, guys. Data says, I know you and C are pros, but I wonder if that's too formal. No, I think because you need to get people excited and pumped, right? So you got to give them a reason to be there. You can't just meander into the show. And so we have to start with a strong, initial 10 seconds. Like, it's got to be really strong and really grab your attention. And I'm hoping that this will do it. It won't be fast. It'll just be kind of like 9 and heavy. I'm glad Jamie didn't call him 9 and heavy. No. Super heavy. Abby says, I'm just about to start a podcast called Acquisitions. I mean, you totally can. I'm going to steal it, though. Yeah. Human person, have you thought about spinning the background because the station has artificial gravity? So here's the thing. If you look at the background, you can actually really tell in this shot. This is a sticker. Right? So it's can't rotate that way. So I can't make the sticker spin. So there are two ways I could make this spin. One is with an LED. The correct way to do this is with a cohesive LED wall. It would be, I guess what? Maybe about 10 meters? 10 meters across with the arc? Yeah, Dada, so can I. Dada says, I can see the horizontal line. Yes, we all can see the horizontal lines and the vertical line. Like, you can see the lines. You can see the lines. Just pay no mind to the lines. LED wall is the right way to do it. I twisted my stupid. Hold up. There we go. The problem is, in order to do an LED wall, I'm going to need about 20 kilowatts of power of that size. I'm rough guessing. Is that right? Yeah, something like that. but then also like well over $100,000, probably close to $250,000 for a wall of that size. The nice thing is, Jared is in mission control. He's Jared's on console. Oh, that'd be welcome to Acquisition Signal. Welcome aboard Station 204. We're glad to have all of you on console. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so LED wall is the right way to do it. It does a couple things. One, when we can bring people back in here, you'll be able to see it. Two, it's going to shine light backwards, so you're actually going to have the proper lighting from behind, exactly as you would expect. And three, it's going to look correct. So as the cameras move, you're always going to be in an area that looks correct. You're never going to have a weird virtual thing. But again, I'm not going to spend $250,000 to do this and an obscene amount. Like, we'd have to redo the power in the station as well. So that brings up the next way we could do it. And Human asks, couldn't you do it with a green screen? Yes, you can. But here's the thing. Really great green screen is really freaking expensive as well. So you can do really great green screen in post-production pretty easily. You just need to spend a good chunk of time letting the algorithm sit there and chunk through your video. And it takes a really long time to get a really good clean matte. You can do it live too, but you got to spend a good chunk of money. Or it has to look fake. One of the two. I don't want it to look shitty. So what we end up with instead is the sticker, because you always get the proper perspective. It's lit correctly, right? So we're lighting it even from the back, and we're not going to have issues with trying to chroma key out humans. We're not going to have to like pre-composite any of that and try to do all of that live. Yeah, and actually this is a good point. Like, they don't even like using green screens in movies and whatnot. The Mandalorian, they actually used a giant LED wall, a curved giant LED wall that also acted as the ceiling. And what was really amazing with that is when they shot the camera at it, it also did depth of field and what am I trying to say? Parallax tracking with the camera itself. So yeah. So it's not going to be anything that happens anytime soon unless someone would like to donate $250,000 to the cause. Although I think, hang on, I don't remember how much Ultimate is. Hang on, let me look. That would be, I think I can get it off of, you know what, hold up. I want those cameras. I'm very excited for these cameras. I'm very, very excited for not just the cameras, but the camera controller unit. That's all done through Ethernet, and it's basically SMPTE 2110. It's the first, these Blackmagic cameras that they've just announced, these guys here. Did I hit learn more? Can I learn more? Am I allowed to learn more? No? They don't want me learning anything. Okay. You know what? Let's do... So first off, this is a 4K live camera that's under $2,000. Now, yes, it's an MFT lens. Not my favorite, but you know what? Our current cameras are MFT. But here's the thing. There is a camera control unit that you can get. You know what? In order to do this right, I'm going to have to go here. There you go. So, 2 models, blah, blah. Really great new tally lights. It has 5-pin headset over here. So you've got ClearCom or RTS. You can just patch straight into that. It's got traditional, on this camera, it's got traditional SDI and I don't know who's going to use HD. Actually, I know exactly where HDMI would be used. You can actually plug the HDMI into your teleprompter, and you can actually get, use regular screens for teleprompting. But let's see if we've got it anywhere in here. What's really cool is this screen is actually effectively the same screen, but they made it into a touch screen that they use on the Ursa Studio viewfinder. So it's the same form factor. The buttons are the same. It looks identical, and so you got this really nice form factor for these things. Let's see here. I really want to show. Here you go. This on the side is a 10 gig Ethernet port, and that 10 gig Ethernet port plugs in to a camera control unit. Plug in your camera control. Come on, guys. Give me that. Okay, here we go. It plugs into this studio converter. So they just call it 10 gig Ethernet, but I believe that this is SMPTE ST2110. And if you Google, it's a real thing, SMPTE ST2110. And so here you go. It's a suite of standards for moving serial digital video over IP effectively. And there are 2110 cameras, and 2110 hardware has been out there for quite some time. And it's fine. Like, I looked at 2110 for some Company X stuff. The problem is when you start pricing it out and looking at like how much it costs to do 2110 versus just baseband SDI, you're spending a lot more money with a lot more points of failure for like no reason. You can just do multiplexed CWDM SDI 4K, 12 gig multiplexed, actually, interestingly enough, you can do more channels of 12 gig multiplexed over a single strand of fiber or even two strands of fiber than you can with 2110. And you can go further on the CWDM system than you can on a 2110 system without some weird clocking issues. So, like, I looked at that and I'm like, I don't understand what you're ever going to use 2110 for. And then this came out, and now I understand why you use 2110, at least in this specific configuration, because that single Ethernet cable plugged into the back of the camera supplies power to the camera. It supplies 2 channels of return video, 4K video back off of the camera in 4K 60 or 59. It does tally control, talkback control, like full comms, I think multi-channel comms, and full audio, all off the camera, off of that one Cat 6 cable, or Cat 7, whatever. You got to move 10 gig. So this is pretty awesome. Now, what I've been using at Company X is something called SMPTE Hybrid. That's fine, except that there's so many points of failure in that stupid chain, and the cable's so freaking... Here's the thing. That's not what I wanted to hit. This is why I can't do it. That cable is just an Ethernet cable. I can make that cable in the field. If I have a problem with my cable, I can go to Best Buy and buy another cable. SMPTE Hybrid cable. I can't just go buy. I can't re-terminate. And if there are any issues with it whatsoever, I'm out of luck. So, yeah, Abby, hold on. Yes, so Abby asks, so that camera's effectively a PoE device. Yep. It's PoE++. It's 90 watts. So you're not plugging that into a regular PoE switch. And the one thing that is a little bit different, like part of what makes SMPTE 2110 awesome, and one thing that this doesn't do, is normally in SMPTE 2110 you get like 5 cameras. You plug them into a switch, and then those switches plug into your routing infrastructure. In the Blackmagic scenario, it is a 1-to-1 connection between the studio converter and the camera. So you must plug this port directly into this port. You cannot have a switch in between the two. Even if it's a 10 gig switch, even if it's a 100 gig switch, you cannot do that, at least not today. You might be able to in the future, but it must be point to point. And as Detta says, that is a lot of power over Ethernet. Yep, absolutely. And I think that's part of why they want you to plug it directly in there. If you look at the size, like if you look at the size of this box, it's actually substantially deeper than their normal boxes, and that's because they have a much larger power supply in there to deal with the 96 or 90 watts coming off the back of it. That is kind of fun. Sorry. all these super complex words that I don't understand a thing. I'm sorry. I am speaking in jargon, like industry jargon, but these are actual industries, standard terms. Faith says you'll break a switch probably. No, I mean, like, dang it. The whole point of that is you don't, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you got to size your switch accordingly. You can't plug, 11 10 gig cameras into a 100 gig switch. That's not going to work. So, and that's the other thing to think about, right? So I can get 18 channels of 12 gig video down one fiber optic cable, or I can get 10 channels of 10 gig video down one fiber optic cable. I was like, well, with 2110. So why would I do 2110? That doesn't make sense. Marty the Martian wants me to talk loud. Talk loud for a few minutes. I'll just talk like this. Jared had says, I know some of these words. I know some of these words. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm super excited for that. We got off track. Like we were talking about something else. Oh, I was looking up the price of Ultimate. Okay, so it wouldn't be too terrible. So if I wanted to do Ultimate, I think you got to get the controller as well. You can't just... So this is what we would need. We would need one of these per channel. So we would, just to do proper green screen that wouldn't suck. Live, amazing green screen, we would need $30,000 to start, because you need one unit per channel, and that's the compositing processor. And then you also need the remote, although I think, okay, yeah, you only need one remote. So we'll call it $3,500 all in. Yeah. And so I could $35,000 all in. So I could spend $35,000 to get a really cool chroma key going and have lots of points of failures, and we can never move the cameras because they're locked into that position. Or I can spend, I think it was like $500, and I can get a sticker. So we're going to go ahead and spend $500 and get a sticker. That's how that works. Paige said that sticker looks neat, and you got your money's worth. Yep, I think so too. Dada, do you remember how many times we had to put the sticker up there? Because the sticker, the planet kept falling, so we'd put the sticker up, and then the sticker would come down, and then we put the sticker back up. But the thing is, you can't put the sticker back up because now the sticker's like folded onto itself and has destroyed itself, and so then we had to get a whole other sticker and stick it up there. Was it twice? Yeah, that sucked. Because that's expensive. Yeah. By the way, for the record, so Dada said the first time it fell down, and that is half true. Both times it fell down. It's just that we caught it the second time, and we just started stapling it in, and then put, I think we put some molding on the bottom, some black molding, and just like stapled that into the wall to like press the sticker into the wall and hold it in place. And even then it still started separating at the bottom. I'm like, ugh, whatever, stupid sticker. Yeah. What else we got? Are we running out of topics? Yeah, Data says there's approximately 8,273 staples holding it to the wall. Yep. Too soon, Paige, too soon. Emergency operations in process, rapid staples being fired. And I think it was Liam Kennedy's tweet, where he was like, space station's in emergency operations, and I was like, what? And I started searching the internet, and there was nothing online whatsoever. The only person tweeting about this was Liam, and I'm like, this feels weird. And so then I just slammed down the loops, and I started like, what's going on? And like, you could hear it. Like, I got halfway into the conversation, but there's a tonality change in the voice. They were very professional, very on top of it, but you could hear it. And I was like, uh-oh. This is not good. So, yeah. How hyped am I for the Starship orbital test flight? Orbital flight test. New question from Abby. How hyped are you for the Starship orbital flight test? I feel like it isn't going to end up like Falcon Heavy being, quote, 6 months away for 3 years. That's the constant joke, right? On Tomorrow, is that everything's 6 months out. Except that we can't say that about Virgin Galactic or Blue Origin anymore. Both of them flew within a week. Like, we have a long-standing 6 month out joke, and they're ruining my 6 month out joke. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. So how hyped am I for Starship? There's a chance that Starship will fly when I am in surgery, or at least out. So right now, I'm slated to be out pretty much effectively all of September and a little bit of October. And so if anything flies in that area, I'm not going out. That is not me saying that that's when things are going to fly. They could go way earlier. They could go way later. I actually don't know. I have zero information. I haven't been following along. So don't read into that. I don't know when things are going to fly. But, you know, you read the tea leaves and you're like, okay, well, I can see where this would push out. Having said that, like, God, they're making incredible progress on that tower, right? So, you know, I'm kind of in this, like, you know, knowing my luck, it's all going to happen when I'm out. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I guess I'm at the point where I just, you know, you do them one at a time and take them as they come, and then you get excited when you're in that moment. And prior to that, it's just like, you know, just focusing on what it takes to get you there. Oh, J. Michael said, you're not wrong. Says 6 months out is better than Fusion's 20 years out. I wish you weren't right, but you're right. Oh, you know, I actually didn't know that. I should probably go to NASA Spaceflight and like pull this up. But Tower is up and SN20 nose cone action tonight. That's pretty cool. Again, I haven't been following along at all, so I have no idea. So you could tell me just about anything, and I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. Sure. Yeah. Let's see here. Can't I just ask Paige about the Starship flight, or is it not allowed outside of SpaceX? I mean, ultimately, the only person who really knows is Elon, and if SpaceX has not publicly announced it, then it's not real. So any answer you get that isn't from SpaceX or from Elon is fake. Straight up. If I tell you something, it's not real either. Because we don't know. So, right, we can speculate, but we don't actually know. Elon is a new guest. You know, we actually, you know, here's the thing that people forget. Tomorrow had Elon on. Tomorrow had Peter Beck on. We have all of these incredible guests on way, way, way before they actually build these things. We had Elon on in the Falcon 1 days. We interviewed him. Ben interviewed him after Flight 4, I think it was. Maybe it was Flight 5. Of Falcon 1. Falcon 9 had never flown at all. And, you know, we talked to him about Mars and a bunch of, like, it wasn't... He was busy, and I think he was annoyed that he had to do this podcast thing, and it wasn't my best interview, but, you know, we had him on. We had Rocket Lab on. We had him on well before they were even, like, we were sort of talking about Electron, but really they were talking about their, the hybrid fuel that they had built. Yeah. So, anyhow. What other questions we got? Just remember, I can't really talk about, like, first off, I don't know. When it comes to SpaceX, I simply don't know. I am the photon empress. I move photons around. I have no insight into schedules whatsoever. They say, Jamie, show up here on this day, and I show up there on that day. That's what happens. And they don't give me lots of notice. So, you know, you will know, frankly, you will know before I will on any of this stuff. That's just how it is. Faith, you're not wrong. It's almost like anything can happen in aerospace engineering. Yeah, that's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. And this is a next generation vehicle, right? So schedules are fluid. So it's not even just me. Like, and if anyone is giving you concrete dates, they're making stuff up, right? If you don't hear from Elon or from SpaceX, they're making stuff up. Abby says, sorry for opening the Starship can. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the other thing is I can't talk about SpaceX, so we're not going to talk about SpaceX. Oh, so this is one of my favorite vehicles. Saw the Dream Chaser mock-up the other week. I have always loved the Dream Chaser. Oh, hey, I just, according to my watch, my stand goal was just achieved. Data asks, what did I think of Virgin Orbit's Launcher 1 live stream? I thought it was a really good start. I think that their start was stronger than the start from SpaceX, and their start was also stronger than the start from Rocket Lab. If you were to compare the Virgin Orbit stream to a modern day SpaceX stream, I don't think it holds up quite as well. However, SpaceX has had a long time to hone that process and figure those things out, and they've had exactly 0 prior flights to make that go. So, this stuff is hard, and people don't always anticipate exactly how difficult live broadcast is, especially with rockets. It's a very unique, special thing. So I think that they did with what they had, and on the first one, I think they had a very strong volley out there. I think the Virgin Galactic webcast, on the other hand, I fundamentally disagree with the choice to bring on Stephen Colbert, the comedian, on a human launch vehicle when it's the first one. Now, I don't disagree with bringing Stephen Colbert, the human, on. It's just that, like, Stephen Colbert, in my opinion, this is obviously my opinion, Stephen Colbert should have been like, I'm a friend of Sir Richard Branson. I'm super excited for him to go to space. I'm super excited for humans to go to space. This is what it means to me. Let me hand it over to the desk and they can tell you what's actually going on in space. You go back to Stephen Colbert and be like, let me tell you some great stories about that I had with Sir Richard Branson. We had a bunch of fun, doing. I think that would have been a more compelling human moment. I'm not sure that speaks to the Virgin brand as much, but I think it would have made for a better webcast. I was a little bit sad with how that ended up. I thought they could do a lot better. They also, I could hear, when Virgin Galactic was on orbit, nope. No. When Virgin Galactic was in space, suborbit, and they were trying to get that live feed down of video and audio, and it failed, and then they tried again and it failed again, and then they tried again. I could hear the marketing team being like, I want my moment, give me my moment, we have to have this moment. And I could hear the engineers saying, this isn't going to work, you need to let go of this. And I could, the marketing team was just, in my mind, was just not listening to engineering. And I'm like, you have to listen to your engineers. When your engineers say, no, don't do this, stop immediately and come up with a backup plan. But that's how it should work in aerospace, because that's what that's what the engineers do, and they fundamentally have everyone's best interest in mind. But that's kind of unique to aerospace, and if you bring it in with a normal production company, a normal producer is going to be like, no, I'm the producer, make this happen. Whereas in aerospace, the engineer's like, I understand you're the producer, but this thing is traveling, Mach whatever. We're not getting a good downlink from it. You're not going to get a good downlink from it. I don't have a backup here. So, yeah, they should have given up on that. Yeah, here's the thing. Richard's speech was beautiful and inspiring. But you know what? They could have done that on the ground. They could have done a store and forward. There are many ways that they could have gone about that. That would have been a much better experience for the end user. And those moments where they failed multiple times trying to do that also took away from the experience from me. Like a lot. They just weren't prepared for that. And I don't blame the techs. Like that's really all of, I know exactly how hard those shots are. They're crazy, crazy hard. They just had to have a backup plan and they didn't. And I blame the producers for that. Yeah, data, exactly. Like, they really should have thought this through, and they didn't. And this is a production side thing, not an engineering side thing. Like, the producers should have had a backup, and they didn't. They had nowhere to go, clearly. And, like, that's bad TV, is what that is. Yes, Paige says, everything's learning curve. Hopefully it's all better for the next flight. Sure. Did it again. You know, I should just remove that button. Or I should move it down. I mean, it is a cool shot, right? Like, that. There you go. And you can see the new control surface in there, too. It looks nice. Hang on one second. I'm going to get something to drink really quick. So, let's see here. What? Should we give you that one? You want that one or that one? That one? Is that where we should go? Or do I have a better one here? Let's see here. This is... here you go. That was after I was able to get everything off. Look at how swollen my face was. Like, all of it. You can also see how much they stuck into my cheeks. Like, look at that. All right. I got a couple things. So I've got a... No, I might need a tighter camera over here so I can, like, hold things up. You know what I might be able to do? This is going to be amazing if I can pull this off. I can't really... Can I... There we go. Now, I can do this. So I've got... Come on, this is clever. Be proud of me. Yeah. So I've got my Cosmic Stardust. Oh, it's all backwards now. That's too bad. And this is Alani Energy. So it's only 10 calories, right? But it's got like... It's got a bunch of vitamins, no sugar. It's gluten-free, vegan. There's caffeine on here somewhere. It's got a boatload of caffeine, if I remember right. And that's the only downside, like right now, is like I'm not sure I want to have that much caffeine. And then I have this Aquapana. This is my favorite water, but it has to be chilled. But this is really, really, really good bottled water. I really love it, and I'm actually... Yeah, I thought I could... Preferences. Well, you know what I could do? I could call myself on FaceTime and then have a mobile phone. That's all right. Give me a second. I really needed water. So what's interesting is the HVAC in here is definitely broken because I turn it on and it gets hotter. So that's going to have to be fixed. Here, what other images do we have in here that I can show you? I think I have one final pre-surgery. Oh, here we go. This is a pretty good one. This is me prior to surgery, right? Again, you can see the difference in the shape of the face. I was doing okay with hair, but again, you can kind of see like up in here where the hairline really goes far backwards, and it just doesn't anymore. Like you can see the change in the hair shape. Oh, here's let's see if I can zoom in. That's not what I want. There you go. Again, you can really see that hairline. So the new hairline comes way further down. You can see how much they filled in, like right up in here. If I go back to my camera, like you can see how far down everything came. Yeah, I kind of like the curls too, but I was lazy today and I didn't do it. That's all it really comes down to. My parent. Oh my God. Ready? Ready for this? That is my one of my high school graduation photos. I was super sick when I was taking those photos. But you know what's interesting? Actually, hang on. Look at this. You can see the hairline. So I'm also the face shape. Ooh. So look, you can actually see the hairline goes way back here. Right? I've got some of these little things, but you can actually see how far back my hairline goes, even as a kid. Right? And this is part of the problem also, right? So this was kind of like my, similar to my old male haircut. Well, all of this grows out. It's so short and weird. It grew out in a funky way. So it's just taken a while to, defunkify. Let's see, what else have we got? This is a good old photo of me. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, the beard. You know what's interesting is you can still see, like, you can see in my eyes, I'm not unhappy, but I'm also not comfortable. Like, also mischievous, right? Yeah. What else have we got in here? Okay, so this, I'm trying to get back here. I like this photo. This is a really good example of like me trying to figure out where I belong. Because if you do this, looks pretty decent. It's not bad, right? Decent shape here, okay shape here, right? So like women's restroom. But if you do this, quite a bit more male. There's just something male about this part of my face in this photo. And so, and then like the hairline doesn't help, right? So when you're looking at this, like, and then you look at it as a cohesive thing, it's like, okay, which restroom do I use today? Those were some of the questions I would ask during that phase. Now, if you look at my face, you don't go, it's actually much more feminine, right? So I don't have that, I don't have that problem. Oh, here you go. This is, oh, I can't show you that. That's too bad. Oh, I wish I could show you this. This is a picture of the SpaceX video control room. That's a no-go. Is there actually anything in the... and to make it even worse, with a rocket on the pad. Let's see here, what else we got? Oh, I wish I could... This is what happened. This is what happens when my hair is not behaving. I think I was in Boca Chica. And another, so, and the other thing I was going to mention with that last photo when I was at Disney in the skirt is I liked that weight. That was 170 pounds. I've climbed back up in weight. Actually, I wonder if I can take a picture of that and show you. I shouldn't be on that. Let's see here. Let's see, where is my health? Okay, this is a pretty good one. Save the photos, and then can I do... Oh yeah. That's a good one. Save the photos. And this is a good one. Sorry, give me a second. I'm getting you some interesting data on my weight. I have one of those scales that does like a whole bunch of things. and you'll see why I'm disappointed. Okay, that's good enough. So now, let's go back down here. I hope it's uploaded. Oh man, a lot of photos. So check this out. Ooh. I should open up my photos so that I can have it upload. There we go. Upload, upload, upload. All right, we gotta drop those into here. Almost, I promise. It'll be maybe worth it. Okay, like this. All into this album, go into that album. Oh, this is perfect. So, here we go. So, you can actually see how my weight has been over time. So, and this is in imperial units, so pounds, not metric. Sorry. So you can see my weight went down, and you can see at the same time my body fat went down, and then my weight slowly started to come back up, but there was kind of this weird spike right here. This weird spike is right after some of my surgeries. What's really interesting is, so you can see here was my fat level before I started transition. My fat level's higher now than before transition, but my weight is lower than transition, and that's because look at this drop off in muscle mass. Isn't that crazy? So I'm gaining fat but losing muscle. Now this is all hormones, and so this kind of also goes to, you know, you talk about Dutta says because boobs. That's partly true, but the boobs are not 20 pounds, which is what we're talking about here. And then check this out. My bone mass also dropped. So right around the same time, I'm losing muscle mass, I'm losing bone mass, but I'm gaining fat. Now, I didn't change my workout routine really. I did slow that down a bit because of surgeries, right? So I couldn't work out as much. I didn't really change my eating habits too much. Still do intermittent fasting, do all that fun jazz. But this is what hormones do. This is what, when you lose your testosterone is the thing that motivates muscle growth. And when you don't have that, you end up with a sharp decline in muscle mass and a decline in bone mass. And look at this, my body water content went down. So basically everything's gone down. Body water's down, bone mass down, muscle mass down, lots more fat, tons more fat, right? Let's see here. And then, oh, I didn't get my BMI, but like that caused my BMI to get out of a target zone. So I was at 170 pounds. I was like right in the middle of my BMI. I wasn't too high, wasn't too low. It's exactly at my height where my BMI was. I'm closer to 185 now. And I was never 170. It was like 175 on average, 172. So about 20 pounds higher. And now I'm just tipping out of my optimal BMI range. Now I'm considered overweight. When I was as Ben and I was at 220 something, 225, I was considered obese. My height is 5 foot 10 inches. Jared asks, what app is this? This is some cool data. This is the HealthMate app on my iPhone. The nice thing is it links into Apple Health as well. And it's linked to my scale. So I think this is, it was when I got the scale when Nokia owned it, but I think it's Withings now. I think they, like, Withings sold it to Nokia and then bought themselves back out or something like that. I don't know. It's the same scale. It just has a different sticker on it. And yeah, it's nice. So you step on it in the morning. It connects via Wi-Fi. And it does its best to measure. The other thing to note is to take all of that with a grain of salt. What it's doing is it's sending electrical impulses up through the bottom of your feet to try to measure the resistance of those impulses to make assumptions on fat content versus muscle mass versus bone mass. And it's decent-ish data, and you can see some trends with it, but you can't like trust your doctor's data over this, certainly. Yeah. Let's see here. Ooh. Data asks, is there osteoporosis risk with transition? I'm not aware of any, but that doesn't mean that the answer is no. What else we got? Let's hide you. Start minimized. Hide. Cool. Oh, by the way, how does the image look? I did some different color correction or different color settings on these cameras. Not that it matters, because I really, 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 really want to get these cameras. I'm super excited for these cameras. Not only is it like a better viewfinder, better, like, sleeker solution with a much, much better tally light that talent can see, but the sensor is radically better than what the sensor on the cameras we have right now. Much better low light performance, which means we can probably take a good 6 to 9 dB of camera gain out, which means we'll have less noise, which means you'll just have a cleaner image. Aww. Faith, that's sweet, but I'm not buying it. Says, looks good, just like you. Aww. Aww. Paige is going to bed. It was good to have you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go sometime soonish as well. It's midnight, and I've got a breakfast date with a bunch of Disney nerds that I'm excited for. I gotta figure out what the heck I'm gonna wear, because I can't wear my compression piece, which means that most dresses and skirts are out, because, you know, I have a package problem until September 7th. Dada, actually, this is a good point. Actually, that's many good points in one, which is we've been drinking this whole time, so Friday night is off to a great start. This is fun. Need to update my Uber account. Uber to and from the studio. Yeah, so the goal is to, yes, I just used Delta on purpose to move the microphone. So now I've realized where the end is, and I can just kind of, like, you know, kind of lean my breast into it. The goal is to move the live shows to Friday night, and you know, drink and have fun and, like, do this, but, like, on a bigger scale, right? Because Jamie's Biz does not have the audience that anything else has. Also, me trying to direct the show is way more complicated, but it will be fun because I do have the stream deck, and so, you know, as Dud is punching the show, I can randomly be like, but me. And he'll be like, stop it, and I'll be like, but me. He'll be like, stop it, and I'll be like, but me. Yeah. Yep, that's gonna happen. Oh, the other thing I want to get is one of the new Web Presenter 4Ks. And, but me. Oh my god, this is amazing. Alejandro is, that's not what I wanted to go to. I've been catching up on the live stream, playing it at 2x speed, and now I'm finally live. It's so funny. Now it sounds like you're drunk. I don't understand. I feel like it would have sounded like I was drunk when you were playing at 2x speed. Although maybe at 2x speed my voice actually sounds correct. Maybe that's what it takes. 2x speed. No, that's not it either. If anyone has a phenomenal vocal coach, let me know. I don't know what I need to do, but I need to do something, and I can't figure it out, and it's been bothering me. It really bothers me. Let's hear it. We got anything else, or are we wrapping up here? It is 12:01 a.m., so it is now officially Saturday. Been going for a long time. Yeah, Abby's signing off, getting late over there. Abby, it was great to have you here. I hope you had a fun time. This was nice to kind of, like, set up and play with, so thank you for showing. You know, I think I am going to sign off at this point, so hopefully this sounded decent, and it was a good kind of, like, single person dry run of one of the live shows, other than Delta just moving the microphone randomly. But yeah, this has been, like, we were able to show, like, the screen kind of generally works. I've got decent cabling going to the desk. I've got another thing over there. We got to figure out chairs, which we'll hopefully figure out this weekend. I've got more headphones showing up tomorrow for that desk and for the control room. You got to see this. I got the I'm really happy that the Stream Deck worked, right? Like, this is actually kind of nice, because what we can do is I could potentially get another Stream Deck for Carrie Ann, and then we could actually be like, actually, let me show you my computer, and just take control of the board, and then kind of diversifying that switching feed might actually be nice, because then the, and then kind of, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I do this. If I'm in a swivelly chair, I swivel, and yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, cereal and blue. So hold up, cereal and blue, cerulean blue says you gained a subscriber tonight. Thank you for having us hang out with you. Cerulean blue. I feel like that's your first comment. Like, you could have been saying things earlier, and I would have, like, look at that. I would have brought you up on screen. There's your icon, your name. Like, would have done things. Now, let's see here. And now they're gone. Oh, Austin said, hold up. Austin, I don't feel like I really brought you into the show either, but it said fun stream, smiley face. Yeah, well, thank you for joining us, Austin. I had fun too. I love how I feel a little bad. Alejandro shows up and is like, it was fun, yeah. I just got back to live now. I was like, I'm sorry. You just get to live, and I'm like, okay, we're done. Yeah. I mean, come on. I typed a dozen things, didn't think you were good enough. I mean, no matter what, like, I can read them. I can choose not to take them to air. There's a bunch of stuff that makes it into the chat room that I don't take to air. Yeah. Although it is funny. It is pretty funny. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Did the audio sound good, or did you get any ticking, or did you get any audio hits or anything? Because I did take the latency way down on the audio system, and I just want to make sure that that is a viable solution, because I am digitizing here and sending it over the network as opposed to trying to run analog cable. Some clips? Yeah, is that VU clips or some ticks? Like there's a kind of noise, or is it a gain clipping? Two very different things. Yeah, it is nice that at least you made it. You made it to the live show, and we got to bring your comments into the show. All right. Okay, everyone. This was fun. I got to figure out how to get out of it, though. Let's see here. Where's YouTube? It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be talking in like mid-sentence. Everything will shut down. How long have we been going? It doesn't say how long we've been going. Also, it says that my audio stream bitrate is 0 kilobits per second. So I feel like that's not true. Oh, we've been going for like 3 hours. All right. Yeah, the most awkward way of signing off is the best way. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it'd be kind of cool